This is Cast of Wonders, the young adult fiction podcast featuring stories of the fantastic. Welcome. I'm Alexis, your friendly neighborhood co-assistant editor. Our story this week is Secrets and Things We Don't Say Out Loud by Jose Pablo Iriarte. Jose Pablo Iriarte is a Cuban-American writer, high school math teacher, and parent of two. Jose's fiction can be found in magazines such as Lightspeed, Strange Horizons, Fireside Fiction, and others. Learn more at labyrinthrat.com or look for Jose on Twitter at labyrinthrat. The story is narrated by Devin McLaughlin. Devin is uncomfortable with writing bios about himself, but is struggling through it. He lives in southern Ontario in Canada, where he alternates between working on various costumes, writing stories of his own, and, when his very loud cat gifts him with silence, narrating stories for others to enjoy. And now, we've a tale to tell.
Secrets and Things We Don't Say Out Loud by Jose Pablo Iriarte. Blame cabin fever. I don't usually do stupid things. I'm not supposed to leave the motel room while Kathleen's out looking for stuff she can resell at the flea market. Not if I want to avoid being sent back to the lab. The homeschool worksheets she leaves for me are stupid, though, and nothing's on TV. I've been in this town, Henderson, some other last name, for weeks without seeing anything. At least nothing beyond what I could spot through the room's only window, or on trips with Kathleen to the grocery store, half a mile down Route 81. I figure it won't hurt anything if I hike over to the Gas and Go and buy some chips or something with the $1 I found in the laundry room yesterday. Only it turns out you can hardly buy anything with a single dollar. I spend forever in the store's 4 cluttered aisles, checking price stickers and trying to figure out tax in my head. I glance at the register, and the old man up front is gone. Uh-oh. If there's one thing I've learned while on the run with Kathleen, it's that you don't get much warning when trouble's about to hit. Time to scram. A whiff of too strong cologne is my only warning that it's too late. "Not so fast, boy," he says, stepping out between the 2 aisles and grabbing my arm as I head toward the door. "You think I don't see you there shoplifting?" "What? I didn't steal anything." I try to pull away, but the old man's grip is like iron. "Do I look stupid? 90 degrees outside and you're walking in here with your jacket and gloves? What's in your pockets?" He yanks on my hoodie right as I lurch away, tugging my jacket halfway off. He reaches for me with his other hand, and I watch it coming from my bare arm for what feels like a minute. A full minute of swimming in jello, too slow to get away. "Stop!" I cry out uselessly. His hand contacts my elbow and his secrets pour into me. Faking sickness to avoid the draft, calling his daughter a disappointment when she drops out of nursing school, sighing with relief when his wife passes on after a long illness. I see he'd give anything for one more day with her, and that he misses his daughter. She runs a tattoo parlor somewhere in town called Lakeside Shops, but she might as well be on Mars. But when the gates open, they open in both directions. I see my father leaving because he couldn't face a kid who knew all his lies. My mother giving me to the government men who wanted to learn what made me tick. Dr. Lakeland, Kathleen, giving up her whole career to free me. And he learns about the reward for information leading to my rescue from my kidnapper. A reward that might be enough to retire on. The old man, Enrique, staggers back. "What are you?" Not the first time somebody's asked that. "Not a thief, for one thing." I pull my jacket back on. "Demon," he says. "Freak. Stay right there." He hesitates when he reaches out to grab me, though, and in a flash I'm beyond his grasp and out the door. I pull out my burner phone as I run and call the only number in my speed dial, Dr. Lakeland. "Jake, what's wrong?" "Kathleen, You're supposed to call me Mom. Nobody's listening. Keep up the cover or you'll slip when it counts." Kathleen's secret is that's not the real reason she wants me to call her Mom. My secret is that I'll never think of her that way. But neither of us really has any secrets from the other. Just things we don't say out loud. "I've been clocked," I say. A moment passes. "What happened?" I reach the motel as I recount the story, Taking the stairs 2 at a time, I pant the words. "Meet me in front of the Bilo," she says, sounding grim. 15 minutes. "And Jake?" I slide the key into the door and step through. "What?" "Don't go back to the motel." I block the swinging door before it clicks shut. Okay. "I'm serious." "Okay." "Good. See you in 15. "It's not a lie, precisely. She said not to go back to the room. She didn't say anything about already being here. Anyway, I'm leaving as soon as I get one thing." I step to the nightstand beside my bed and grab the book I was reading. I'm only about halfway through, but if I brought it with me, Kathleen would know I came back here. I didn't come for the book. I came here for the bookmark. The happiest day I remember is the day before my mother turned me over to the scientists. The previous few months had been rough. My father left. And then there were doctor visits to figure out what was wrong with me. I was so dumb I hadn't figured out I was supposed to hide my ability. That day, though, Mom took me to Carowinds. She let me choose everything. What to ride, what to eat, what games to play. We stayed until closing and got a hotel room nearby. I couldn't remember ever sleeping in a hotel before, and she let me stay up to watch a movie on cable. I figured she'd decided I was okay, that it didn't matter that I knew people's secrets, that she loved me anyhow. I thought things were about to get better. The next morning, as she packed me into a car with 2 strangers, she hugged me and told me I was only going to spend a few days with them. Maybe she meant that. Maybe the lab people wouldn't let her take me back. Or she got into a car accident and died. Or she got amnesia and forgot she had a son in a lab somewhere. Maybe she wore a long-sleeve hoodie because she was cold. I take a ragged breath. There's no time for this. I run my thumb along the edge of the book until the wrinkled and faded Carowinds ticket slips out, and I stuff it into my pocket. I burst through the motel room door, only to freeze at the sight of a police cruiser pulling into the parking lot 3 stories down. What are the odds it's here looking for me? The old man in the store knows where we're staying, of course, but I figure he would take a little while to figure out who to call. The government suits would also take time to scramble up a team and send them down here. A second cruiser pulls in, and that's answer enough. I struggle to breathe, as if somebody's punched me in the gut. My phone slips from my hand as I tug it from my back pocket, and it tumbles to the concrete floor. I dive to keep it from falling through the metal railing to the pavement below. It's in pieces, but this cheap burner phone isn't actually all that fragile. I snap the plastic mouthpiece back into its hinge and crawl back from the railing as I power it back on and hit send. Her voice is no-nonsense crisp. "What?" "The police are here." "Where?" I swallow. "The room." I hear her sigh. "Are they right outside the door?" "No, downstairs." One of the deputies steps out of her car and strides toward the office. "Can you reach the first hiding place?" Every time we check into a new hotel, Kathleen takes me around and points out escape routes and bolt holes. The first hiding place is in a storage room under the stairs. It has 2 doors, and if you lift a bit and pull both knobs at the same time, the deadbolt slides out. Unfortunately, that's right by the office. I can't. Okay, what about the other one? The other spot is a ladder leading through a hole in the ceiling onto the roof. I'd be cornered, but out of sight. Yeah, but if you can't get away, hide. I'll do something. I sprint to the side of the building where the access ladder is. Every rung reverberates like a gong, but in a few seconds I'm sliding the heavy plywood cover out of my way. I pull myself onto the flat roof, next to an air conditioning unit. There is no shade. Between the July sun beating down and the hot exhaust from the AC units, I'm roasting. I don't know how long I can take it. That's a lie. I'll take it as long as I need to. I creep to the edge. Down below, the second deputy returns to his car. I hold still, hoping he'll leave, but instead he talks into his radio and taps on the computer on his dashboard. Where is the first cop? A third patrol car pulls into the lot. I crouch on the rooftop, hyperventilating. This isn't a big town, but it's big enough to have a police helicopter or two. The sun is low in the sky, but it's not yet dusk, and there's no way anybody who checks up here will miss me. Blaring radio music distracts me, and I peer down at a brown hatchback screeching into the lot. I stare at the window. It looks like Kathleen behind the wheel. Of course, we both know how to hotwire a car, but what on earth is she doing? In the passenger seat is a kid? Something about the passenger's movements as Kathleen barrels over a speed bump and around a turn seems off to me. Kathleen slams on the brakes like she's just now noticed the 3 police cars and makes the world's worst backward K-turn, pealing out loudly. 2 police cruisers fire up their sirens and take off after her, and they all disappear from my view. Okay, she's drawn off all but 1 cop. It's only a matter of time before they're back and with federal reinforcements. I run back to the hole leading off the roof and slip down to the landing. I can't see the first deputy, so I rush downstairs, swinging over the railing when there's just a handful of steps left. In a minute, I'm on street level, looking up at the open door of our room. Hopefully, whoever propped it open is still in there. In the distance, a truck backfires. At least I pray that's what I'm hearing. Then another one. It's a busy state road in front of the motel. Probably lots of trucks backfire, even though I've never heard one before. I should check it out. No, I shouldn't. Kathleen risked herself to give me an opportunity to get away from here. I stop running. Running stands out. I turn at the next corner, not even knowing what's down this street. I turn again when I reach another corner, and then again, zigzagging away from the hotel, and biting my lip to keep from sobbing. Get away now. Freak out later. Once the sun sets, I lose any sense of which way is east or west. Walk, turn, trudge, turn, hobble. I feel like I've been walking forever. The Bilo, that's where Kathleen said to meet her. Only, how do I find it? When I do, will she be there? Has she been captured, or my brain won't finish the thought. Find the Bilo. Nothing else exists in the world besides the Bilo and the road I'm on and the people I need to avoid. The little road spits me out onto a busy stretch of highway. Several 100 feet away I see a marker. Route 81. Thank goodness. I pick a direction and start walking. A short eternity later, the lit sign for the Bilo appears on the horizon, and a weight lifts off my chest. Immediately a new one takes its place. Kathleen won't be there, or the government people will. Only now, with the meeting point in sight, do I notice how tired and sore and smelly I am. Finally, I make it to the parking lot and scan for something. In the darkness under a burnt-out streetlight, I find what I'm looking for. The hatchback from before, or at least one that looks like it. A familiar silhouette sits in the front. When I walk up, I see what appears to be a mannequin lying in the back. I open the passenger door with a creak. This sound makes me freeze, but nobody comes running out of the darkness or blinds us with spotlights, so I guess we're in the clear for now. She barely acknowledges me when I climb inside. I know, I say. I messed up. I'm so... She holds up a hand. Not now. We'll talk later. Have to abandon this car. Hole up. Her eyes close in a long blink. Best bet is try get out of town. Hope they don't find the car right away. Something about her voice isn't right. And her words. Try get out of town. Yeah, that's not how Kathleen talks. She's precise. Each word as carefully measured as the contents of a test tube. The pounding in my chest starts up again. I reach for the dome light. Don't! Nobody's watching us, or we'd already be in custody. I ignore her and click it on. Her hands are covered in rust, and so's her shirt. No, not rust. Blood. I think back to the backfire noises. She's been shot. What were the cops told to make them open fire on her? You need a doctor. She shakes her head and reaches weakly for the light. I turn it off for her. Can't. Hospitals report all shooting victims. I'm okay. No bones broken. No artery hit or I'd be dead by now. My insides shrivel up. It's just luck that she's not dead. All because I got bored. She straightens like she's been saving her strength, and now it's time to use it. Then she starts the car and pulls the gear shift into drive. I study her face as she turns onto the highway, diagonal bands of light from the street passing across her. She might be alive, but she's not okay. She clenches a bit every time she hits a bump in the road or a lane reflector. She's hitting a lot of them. She isn't up to this. Should I try to drive? She's taught me how, but I need her to agree to let me. And I'd stand out behind the wheel. I stare out the window as if the answer is out there. I take everything in without paying attention to anything. Familiar red and yellow arches. Lakeside shops. A Family Dollar. Wait. Lakeside shops. Pull in here. Why? I stop myself before the words "trust me" tumble out of my mouth. Because you're not driving well, I say. She's a scientist. Or at least she was before she gave that up for me. She respects facts. There's somebody here who can help us. Who? Pull over. She frowns, but turns into the shopping center, grunting from the exertion. Now what? I scan the strip mall, looking for something familiar I've never laid eyes on. There, I point. Bella's tattoo studio. She gives me a side eye, but heads toward the studio. An open sign glows above the front door. Kathleen pulls into a spot several rows back where there are no cars she might damage. She hits the parking block hard. I hurry around to her side and help her out of the car. She may not have hit an artery, but it sure seems like a lot of blood to me. Her shirt looks like a zombie tie-dye, and her hand is red like she's been finger painting. She leans on me, and I practically carry her. A chime inside the door tinkles when I pull it open, and I'm hit by the scent of disinfectant. I guess I expected incense or something, but this place smells more like a dentist's office. The walls are painted pea green, and black metal ceiling fans turn slowly overhead. One wall is taken up by framed examples of artwork. 4 seats that look like dentist chairs or massage tables sit empty in the middle of the floor. I scan for the girl in Enrique's memory. Isabel. After a moment I realize the woman reading a magazine behind the counter is her. We close in 10 minutes, she says without looking up at first. Make an appointment. You can't swoop in here right before... What the hell? I meet her eyes. You're Isabel, right? We need your help. Name's Bella. She glances at Kathleen and swallows. And what you need is a hospital. I shake my head. We can't. Whatever kind of trouble you're in is trouble I don't need. We haven't done anything wrong. I know you used to be a nurse. You can help us. Her eyebrows bunch together. How do you know anything about me? I stare at the wood grain on the floor. From your father? My father sent you? Bull. It's complicated. Look, we don't have time to argue. What I don't have time for is her bleeding all over my shop. She picks up the phone. I am calling 911. Don't. I rush across the waiting area, yanking my right glove off as I go. Kathleen sags without my support. I try not to think about that as I slap my hand around Bella's wrist. Again, the walls fall down. Bella's secret is that her son was born premature and she blames herself. Bella's secret is that she wishes she had somebody to confide in. Bella's secret is that she's not as tough as she pretends. My secret is that I knew my mother was never coming back from me. My secret is that anybody can lie to me if I really want to believe what they're saying. My secret is I'm as capable of lying to myself as anybody. She pulls away with a gasp. What did you do to me? Now you understand. The people who want me are powerful. They would kill Dr. Lakeland. They can tell the cops anything, and the cops will believe them and do what they say. Please. We need your help. She swallows and glances deeper into the shop. Let's get her onto the table in the back. I can't promise I can help, but I'll take a look. She stands and crosses to the front door. It's closing time anyway, she mutters as she locks and draws the blinds shut. I help her carry Kathleen, trying to ignore how her breath catches with nearly every step. The back room has another massage chair, and we drag her onto it. After tugging on gloves, Bella lifts the side of Kathleen's shirt, which is stiff with drying blood. Kathleen chokes off a whimper when Bella prods her side. Good news is, it's basically a graze, Bella says. She meets Kathleen's eye. Patching's still gonna hurt, though. Can't you give her something? Bella steps to a cabinet and tosses me a bottle of Advil. Kid, you're the one that brought her to a tattoo shop. We don't do general anesthesia. I hand the pills to Kathleen, who digs out 4 and swallows them dry. Bella douses gauze in hydrogen peroxide and dabs at the wound. When she makes contact, Kathleen cries out. It hurts me just to hear it. Bella pauses and stares up at the ceiling. I'm about to ask what she's waiting for when I hear a pulsing outside. A helicopter. My mouth dries. Thankfully, we didn't park right in front of Bella's shop. Bella swallows and picks up a spool of plastic thread. She uncoils about an arm's length and wipes it down with a square of gauze doused in rubbing alcohol. All I've got is some fishing line we use to help people hide piercings. Not the fine stuff doctors use. It's gonna hurt like hell and leave a wicked scar. She unwraps a needle, threads it with the fishing line, and steps toward the table. Kathleen clenches her teeth, but still screams when the needle pokes through. My chest aches. People will hear, I say, feeling like a jerk. I'm trying, she gasps. Bella begins again. Again, Kathleen cries out. Without thinking, I slap a hand over her mouth. Bella continues stitching while Kathleen wails against my hand. I thought she had no more secrets, but they pour into me all the same. Kathleen's secret is that she would do it all again. Her secret is that she thinks she's not strong enough. You're the strongest person I know, I say, my eyes brimming. My secret is there's a reason I try not to think about why she's given up so much for me. My secret is that if I did, I'd have to think about how much more she's cared about me than my own flesh and blood have. I keep my hand on her mouth until Bella finishes. When I finally let go, all Kathleen does is pant. She needs rest, Bella says, tidying up. I should go home or I might draw attention. She turns off the light. Don't turn anything on. After 2 years on the run, I don't need to be told this. But Bella's just trying to help. I don't need to touch her to understand that. Got it, I reply. We sit in silence after she leaves. I have 1,000 things I want to say, but instead I listen as Kathleen's breathing evens out. Once she's asleep, I pad to a couch in the outer room. I'm sure I'm not sleeping tonight, but I try to rest anyway, so I can focus tomorrow. I startle awake at the sound of a train horn in the distance. I lurch upright, shoving a ratty blanket to the floor. It's okay, kid. Across from me, Bella is pretzeled into an armchair, her head resting on her hand. What time is it? 12:15. She nods toward the counter. I brought donuts. My stomach rumbles. I grab a filled donut and bite down, lemon jelly erupting into my mouth. Powdered sugar dusts my t-shirt. Whatever. It's not like I was clean before. Thanks, I mumble around a mouthful. I don't mean for the donut. She nods back and then sits there, looking at me. It's kind of creepy. What? She gave up a lot to take you away from that lab, huh? My eyes flick to the back room. Yeah. Maybe if my old man cared that much, we'd have a relationship now. I pull the old Carowinds ticket from my pocket and run my fingers along a crease. I glance at Bella. I've seen into your father's thoughts. He cares a lot about you. I wonder what I would see if I touched my mom today. Would I be on her mind? Bella shrugs. Yeah, well, he could have been better at showing it. We can't all be psychics. Well, you know now. She shrugs. So maybe I'll call him. Maybe we'll talk. I don't reply to that. We sit in silence, Bella looking at something on her phone, me turning the amusement park ticket over and over. I'm glad Bella will have a chance to talk to her father. He's not young. Then again, Bella's not the one who almost lost someone today. I get up, cross over to the counter, and drop the ticket into the wastebasket. Bella and I help Kathleen out to the service parking behind the strip mall. Are you sure about this? I ask. They won't be looking for my car, Bella replies. Kathleen squeezes her hand. We can't thank you enough. I'd say pay it forward, but I think you already are, Bella replies, but she's looking at me, not Kathleen. She unlocks the door and we ease Kathleen into the driver's seat. We're going to have to break the steering column if we want your story to be believable. Bella shrugs. It's a crap car anyway. She puts a hand on my shoulder over my t-shirt. Take care, she says. She waits outside while we hotwire her car. Once we pull away, I watch her in the passenger mirror until a turn puts her out of view. I stare at the mirror long after she's gone, watching this town back away from us. We'll get as far as we can in the next day or two, ditch this car and take a Greyhound, and start all over again in some other place, some other motel room. Maybe this time I won't screw everything up. Kathleen shifts in her seat. The last day or so is kind of a blur. I try to imagine how much pain she's feeling. I am so sorry. I'm proud of you, Jake. I blink. Proud? For what? Almost getting her killed? Looks like you took care of a lot these last few hours, she says. I turn toward her, noticing for the first time the small changes that a couple of years on the run have made. Lines on her face that weren't there when I met her. Touches of silver in her hair. She isn't the same person who took me from the lab that night. I guess I'm not really the same person either. Thanks, Mom.
The winter holidays can be a rough time of year for those of us who have lost family. Whether it's death, distance, or fundamental differences that lead to estrangement, being surrounded by the ideals this season reinforces can bring up a lot of painful feelings that wreck the rhythm of daily life. These holidays especially are about togetherness, surrounding yourself with your loved ones, exchanging tokens of affection in the form of food, gifts, and general merrymaking. It's not a huge stretch of empathy to understand why personal losses can seem so much sharper right now. Now more than ever, it's so important to your health and well-being to have some kind of social support structure. And when you no longer have the people in your life who are supposed to be built in by birth, you have to find your own. The site What's Your Grief does a great job describing these beautiful humans. When we talk about found family, we mean people who are not blood family, but who a person forges deep and meaningful bonds with, based on things like shared values, mutual care and support, understanding, unconditional love, and positive regard. These are the people you can laugh and fight and cry with, who will put up with your crap and not think any less of you afterward. The people who get you, and you get in return. Family can come in so many different forms. In this gnarly season of love and loneliness, I hope everyone out there has found what today's protagonist realized he already had by the end of the story. Never forget that life takes away, but it also gives. Join us next week for Skinned by Amanda Helms. We rely on you to pay our authors, cover our server costs, and generally keep things afloat. There are 3 ways you can do that, all of which begin with P. I'm totally stealing this from Alistair and Marguerite. Mwahaha. PayPal. Our website has a shiny button just waiting for you to click. Choose either to donate at any amount you want or subscribe for as little as $5 a month for access to our digital convention table of premium content goodies. Patreon. Looking for a more engaging experience? Try Patreon, featuring all the premium content plus a personalized audio feed of interviews, regular news updates, and higher pledge levels if you're feeling super generous. Finally, Press. If financial support doesn't work for you, you can always help by raising our profile. Got a podcast yourself and looking for guests? We'd love to chat. Leave us reviews wherever you get your podcasts, and consider our stories for roundups, listicles, award nominations, and reviews of their own. Even a retweet or like helps. Money is no requirement to sharing the love. Every bit helps, and thank you. Cast of Wonders is a production of Escape Artists Incorporated and is brought to you by Assistant Editors Catherine Inskip and Alexis Goebel, Associate Editors Tanya Bespalko, Amy Brennan, Alicia Caparoso, Trace Fontil, William Height Minor, Andrew K. Ho, Sean Proctor, Ray O, Susie Rodriguez, Carissa Sluss, Emma Smales, and Chris Tang. Audio producer Jeremy Carter, Community Manager Danny Daly, and our editor and host Marguerite Kenner. Our episodes are released under the Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License. That means you can download or listen to the episode on any device you like for free, but you can't change it or sell it. Our theme music, Appeal to Heavens, is by Alexi Nov and available from Promo DJ or his Facebook page. Thanks for listening.